everyone, my name is Giovanna Proença and I'm the instructor of Doors Coding School. I'm here to give some results of you that did the quiz and got here the level lower intermediate, all right? This video here will explain to you a guide of what you should do to work, to learn how to code, and at the end, how can you apply for jobs, all right? So here we're gonna show you the full curriculum you should follow. As we can see from your results, you have enough knowledge to understand what functions and variables are, but there are still some little gaps that we need to fill in terms of conditionals, loops, and other aspects that you might not learn so far, right? So our guide here will start after what you already know, so after functions and variables, and now start learning the fundamentals of programming starting at conditionals. Once we do that, you're gonna learn the initial concepts of web development, and at the end, you're gonna learn the most complex skills and become a full stack developer, all right? So how do we're gonna approach that? We recommend you taking 3 courses. I'm gonna explain to you the full curriculum, all right? We like to use the CS50 Python course as a beginning, okay? This CS50 Python course, as you can see here, is a course made from Harvard. So this is the same course they have at there, but now they are releasing as well online. And it's really good because it focuses on the fundamentals. So here you're gonna learn all the basic tools you need to code. So functions and variables, conditionals, loops, and more. This course is pretty good because it's well structured, and besides that, they have practical problems, because we know as a school, with our experience with other students that we have, that learning how to code, you have to be active, you have to be practicing exercises. If you're just watching something, you might not exactly learn how to code, but you're gonna see how the person did and you forget in the future. This is why we like CS50. It's pretty good, it's very solid, they have really good content here for the exercises, and they focus on what really matters. So you don't need to learn most of the things that people teach in universities. Here you're gonna focus only on what is needed to become a programmer, all right? As I mentioned, this course is going to start from functions and variables, which is something you already know, and then it will focus on conditionals. By the end of this course, you're gonna have a certificate from Harvard telling everyone that you know the fundamentals of programming, but this isn't not enough to start applying for jobs. So that's why we recommend taking the following up course of CS50 Python, which is CS50X. This course is older than CS50 Python, so they have other things. Let me show you here in my screen. They had other weeks in here, but we're not gonna do this week from 0 to 6.5, because those things you're gonna already learn in CS50 Python. What we're gonna focus in here is week 7 SQL, which will teach you how to manipulate data in a database and tables using code. You're gonna also learn here HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which will create the visual part of a website. So how can you make things look in a website? How can you make a website work? And then you're gonna learn the initial concepts of Flask. Flask is a library from Python, so that's why we're learning Python at the very beginning in CS50 Python, because when you come here at this point, you're going to be able to create a website as a whole, not only the part that is visual, but also what is behind the scenes. So for example, when you log in an account on Facebook or Google, or I don't know, Instagram, you have the visual part, but the part where you put your password and your username and the server analyzes if it's you or not, this is the part that Flask enters, because it will teach us how to make those logic behind the scenes for a website. Okay, so we're going to be focusing on that. And for this course, you're not going to get a certificate because you're going to do only the last 3 weeks. And finally, you're going to learn CS50 Web, which is the ultimate course here for this program, where you're going to learn the advanced concepts of HTML and CSS. You're going to learn Django, which is another library or framework where you can build websites. So it's similar to Flask, but it has more things in there that you should learn, and it's also the correct library that people use in real world. So here you're gonna start learning real world skills. And by the end of this course, you're gonna be able to work as a developer, even without a degree, okay? So all of those courses are really good. As I mentioned, they are hard. They have challenging exercises for you to follow, and the content is amazing as well. So now that you know all the courses you should do, let's talk about the portfolio, okay? So as I mentioned, with CS50 Web, you're gonna be doing some practical projects. Among those projects, you're gonna be building your own Google, Wikipedia, and e-commerce. You're gonna clone Gmail, you're gonna create a social media like Twitter or the old X, and at the end, a final project of your choice. So this will be really good to display your experience, right, in those areas. But you could do as a regular programmer that just put those code on GitHub and share in your CV, but this won't make you stand out from the others. And that's why we highly recommend you displaying your portfolio like that. So you should record a video of yourself explaining the project and displaying this nice website in here, because think about the following. The first person that you're gonna have contact is someone from HR, and this person not necessarily know about anything about programming, right? So if you can explain yourself, explain your project and your experience to this person, you're gonna be one step ahead from the others. Not only because you're displaying your experience, but also because you're gonna show your communication skills, because another important part of being a programmer is not only coding, but actually explaining to others your thought on solving something. And if you have that, you're gonna be different from the others, okay? So why we say that? We do this with all of our students, this methodology that we're doing here, and all of them started working as developers. You can see our past students' LinkedIn or their testimony in our website, but now I wanna show you a short video about one of them telling us their experience with us.
I am Alex. And I just wanted to give a testimonial to the Doors coding community. They helped me really get into coding, and it was something that I was interested in. However, I had no idea how to get into. So I contacted them, and I have to say that they were really nice. Giovanna was my teacher. She helped me every week through lessons, and that really helped me get through the technical side of coding. Also, I got good email support. Every week, if I had any troubles, I would just send a screenshot or possibly share my code with them, and then they would get right back to me, helping me through projects, such as projects for courses like Harvard CS50. And so that will really help me out. Not just technical, I guess I could say I also got a lot of emotional support. Coding can be a little bit frustrating, so they really made sure that the lessons we went through were tailored to the needs I had at the time. They would go at a pace to make sure that I could keep up. And so I just wanted to say, not just the technical side, but the emotional side, they really did an outstanding job. So I just wanted to recommend them, especially if you are interested in getting into the world of coding.
All right, so now that you saw the testimonial of our student, I want to tell you why you should use Coding Doors and not only the CS50 courses. So, well, I already mentioned that CS50 is really good. Their methodology, their structure is really well planned. They will teach you all the fundamentals, all the skills you need in order to become a programmer. But you will face, and you probably face if you already did CS50 before, that there are not enough exercises for you to practice. Usually the exercises, you have the lecture, you need to watch the lecture, and then there is a huge gap between the lecture and the problem sets they will ask you to do. And this can make you feel a little bit frustrated. And you can see that by the dropout rate of this statistic here from David Mellon, the professor of Harvard. So basically for the first week, they have several students, and then for the next week, it kind of cut half of the people kind of drop out the course, and then the statistics just show us that by the end of the day, few people complete the course. There are several reasons for that, and I will show you the first one. The first one is because of this lack of exercises for you to practice, so that's why we created Coding Doors. Coding Doors is an online platform, it's free. You have several exercises, more than 500 exercises from different concepts, different aspects, and they all start from the easy level until the hard ones, so you can actually understand what's going on and getting step by step what you have to do, and then you're prepared to face the problem sets and also real world problems. Okay, so let me show you a little bit how our platform works. As you can see here, this is the tree with the full curriculum that I just mentioned. It starts from the very first week of CS50 Python and it ends at the last week of CS50 Web. And for each circle you're seeing here, we have some exercises for you to do. So let's suppose we're working here with this first week. Here, it's focusing only in functions and variables, so you have 20 exercises to play around. And it starts from this easy concept here, like returning the number 2. And let's suppose I return the number 1. If you run, we have tests being working here beneath the hood. And you have an AI tutor giving you suggestions of how you should solve your question, solve your problem if you have a bug in your code, or it will give you other suggestions if you pass all the tests. Besides that, you don't have only the AI tutor, but you have the theory here, you have some hints to solve the problem by yourself, and you have our own personal solution that fits exactly our expectations for students at this level of CS50 Python, for example. Okay, so this is pretty good because you can keep practicing multiple times until you're feeling comfortable and ready to move on for the next step of the course. All right, The second problem of CS50 is not only this lack of exercises to practice, but also the idea of not having someone to help you out. So those courses are free for us, they are available online, but if you try to do it by yourself, it can be very complicated. As I mentioned, the lecture is pretty good, Professor Mellon is amazing, but when it's time for us to face the problems, things are not the same, things are pretty complicated. So that's why we can also see here this dropout rate. If you have someone to ask, if you have someone to guide you through the problems, to give you the right path, you can speed up your learning process and move on with the course. So this is why we recommend having a mentor. Here at Doors Coding School, we offer the service of one-on-one tutoring, which will be you and our instructor working online via Zoom, or a bootcamp, which will be a group class, and then we're going to be working together. So it's online, you can fit your routine, you're going to have tutors with expertise that will help you within 24 hours. It's affordable compared to other schools, and you have this sense of accountability. So this is the most important part that CS50 doesn't cover. You're gonna have someone to ask for questions, to solve your bugs, to help you out, to teach you how you should think in order to solve the problems. And also, when you feel frustrated and demotivated, you have someone to keep you on track. So the sense of accountability is really hard when you're trying to learn by yourself. Besides that, at Doors, we have a huge community of people from around the world, so you can have a really nice network. And by doing all of those courses, we guarantee by learning with us that you're going to complete all the three CS50 courses I mentioned and earn your certificate. All right? So now that I mentioned all of that, let's think where we should start. Right, so I already told you all the courses you should take, all the resources you should use, why you should use Coding Doors with CS50 and the importance of having a mentor. So now I will tell you exactly where you should start. As a low intermediate level, you should start at week 2 conditionals. I know you already have some knowledge about functions, variables, strings, and conditionals, but now I think it's time for you to masterize those fundamentals. Of course, you can start from the very beginning of our platform, but you can start right there in here in this circle in yellow. All right, I'm already assuming here with your level that you jump this first week. So as you can see, all of those weeks, functions and variables, conditionals, our tree is following exactly the same path as CS50 Python, CS50X, and CS50 Web. So you can keep track of your progress by following those circles here in our platform. And you should start from this very first circle in yellow here. All right, so you should do conditionals 1, then you can do conditionals 2. Later on, you're going to learn about lists. And finally, if you've seen here, we have already the problem set 1, because this is exactly the moment you should start doing those exercises, okay? Once you complete this first week, you can move on with the course and follow everything we mentioned in the video. So, well, now we are at the end of this presentation. I hope I clarify all your questions and all your doubts about the path you should take, the resources you should use, and how can you apply for jobs. In the next days, we're going to be sending you emails to teach you how can you do that. Everything I mentioned here in this video, we're going to be explaining in more details for you in the emails. And well, if you have any question, you can reply to them, you can send me a message, or you can schedule a free meeting with us. All right? I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.